Outdoor education on moving or flat water environments like kayaking or canoeing is powerful, not just for skill development, but for learning, reflection, connection with one another and the environment. This video will capture my journey through this winter semester unit, adding in some personal growth, technical development, and some pedagogical insight. Firstly, the threshold concepts. Threshold concept 1 is experiential learning. On the moving or flat water, canoeing and kayaking is a living example of Kolb's experiential learning cycle. The river or water body becomes the classroom where we act, reflect, analyse and reapply. For example, in this capsizing experiment, what was once an embarrassing and potentially scaring, especially for myself, act, it then became a moment of learning, understanding and confidence. The second threshold concept is pedagogical approaches. I believe for expeditions on water, both kayaking and canoeing, that a learner-centered pedagogy would be best suited. Through this unit, I've discovered that by allowing peers to teach one another and engaging in problem solving, that a space where students weren't passive, then they were empowered and they were building skills through trial and error and reflection. This is clearly seen in the first and now second video. The third and final threshold concept is social and environmental justice. This is because rivers are not just recreational spaces. They hold cultural, social and ecological meaning. Kayaking and canoeing become a platform to engage students with environmental justice, such as witnessing the erosion from climate events or understanding river rights from an Aboriginal perspective. Planning a moving or stillwater trip is a multi-stage process which takes longer and requires more than one may assume. I've created a detailed float plan for my Murray River expedition. It includes many different aspects. All of the planning followed the WA Department of Education excursion guidelines, such as appropriate student-staff ratios, permissions, and risk assessments. This allowed me to get a deeper understanding of the logistical responsibilities behind outdoor learning. This would be a one-day expedition, with students arriving at 8 and then being returned back to school by 3 p.m. The group would be led by Leonie Cockman, who is from Paddle WA and is one of the most experienced paddlers in the state. There would be 2 teachers, myself and Josh Artingstall, who would be supervising as well. There are a total number of 16 students. We would start at the Baden Power campsite and we would end up at Orondo Farm. As you can see, there is only one stop, which is at the Murray River Bridge, and this would be used as a chance for lunch and for students to catch their breath. There are some alternatives as well, in case the route that we have already planned is not suitable. The entry would be the Murray River Bend, our lunch would be at Orondo Farm, and the exit would be Kings Road Bend at the turnoff. As this is a one-day trip, there is no need for tents. However, we will be carrying 2 first aid kits. There will be water supply and food supply for 1 day's worth, as well as we'd be carrying 2 mobile phones, so we'll be able to contact emergency services such as the Dwellingup Police Station. The notes below, you can see that we have looked at the water level, amount of rain, wind speed, air temperature, humidity level, air pressure, and also figured out what is the closest hospital to Dwellingup, which is the Bunbury Regional.
So, this one I love, especially if I'm going along and I'm going down the river and I think, oh, over there's a better line. I can do a nice big solid draw and move my boat over to get the good line. So I like this one for being able to move in a quick fashion, okay? So the little teaching tips for you guys is that this is a vertical kind of stroke, and wherever you're sitting, you're going to go directly out from it. And it's very simple in that you're grabbing the water and bringing it towards your boat. Stop before you hit your boat, because what will happen if I hit my boat? Okay, stop before you hit it. Then, under the water, I've turned my paddle and I've sliced back out, so there's no resistance. Okay? For starters, when you're teaching this to kids, you might get them to do a more of and out, here and out, here and out, here and out.
That is just a small snippet from Leonie, who was teaching us on both flat and moving water. That is her demonstrating only one small stroke that we learnt throughout the entirety of this week. Over the course, my paddling improved significantly, from hesitant and then wild strokes to confidently bracing in both turbulent water and being able to move in flat water as well. I mastered strokes like the sweep and bow and rudder turns, as well as attempting to learn how to do a J-curve, attempting how to flip over as you saw in the first half of the video, as well as navigating things like a hole. I also learned to identify certain aspects of flowing water, such as a hole, what is an eddy, how to sweep into an eddy, and what is the eddy line. Logistically, I also learnt how to do correct safety when operating in moving water. How do I do defensive and attacking swimming? How do I do gear checks? And also, how do I ensure that my gear is suitable for use? This course definitely helped me in a greater understanding of moving and still water expeditions. There were definitely moments of hesitation, like entering the white water for the first time, or learning how to flip over. But reflecting on those challenges has made me a more adaptable, self-aware, and empathetic as an educator for those students who are also a bit hesitant and not confident to tackle those challenges. I understand that discomfort isn't a barrier to learning. It is learning itself. And as a future teacher, I hope I'll be able to design experiences that students can experience some challenge by choice and ensure they have a correct learning experience in terms of technique, but also an enjoyable learning experience. In conclusion, moving and flat water environments are more than just an outdoor playground. They're dynamic spaces for learning, connection, and transformation of students. Through this experience, I've gained greater confidence in my technical and logistic skills of kayaking and canoeing, deepened my understanding of experiential pedagogy, and have experienced some serious joy as a person and as a future educator. The river has definitely taught me how little we are compared to nature's great and wide scheme, which I hope to show off to future students that I have the pleasure of taking. Thank you.